welcome to Real Talk with Miss Brenda. And obviously, I'm not Miss Brenda, and since Miss Brenda is not here, which is what I want to talk to you about tonight, we're going to call this Real Talk about Miss Brenda. First, want to, as many of y'all know, that Mom passed away December 18th, so many of y'all have shown so much love and so much, and I've been getting so many texts and on social media, just people asking how we're doing, and so I wanted to spend a little bit of time tonight and talk to you about how we're doing, how we've gotten in this position, and what's next for Real Talk with Miss Brenda, and what's Real Talk with, and what's next just for us as a whole. And so thank you for tuning in and watching tonight. Tonight is we've just passed a month after Mom's passing, and I felt that it was time to just share more with our people, her people, our girls, and just I know just under the situation, we have not been able to share a lot about what happened, and I just knowing how much that many of y'all loved Mom, and I wanted to share some of that with y'all, and I'm going to ask you to as I go through this, be a little patient with me, because one, I don't always talk to cameras, and when I don't talk to cameras, and I feel like that's what I'm doing tonight. But what I know what I'm doing is talking to people that love us and that we love so very much, that we've been called to love on, and that we've been called to with the family. We're Love Lady Strong, and I want that to come through tonight. So I'm going to ask you just love me through it, and let's get hopefully you'll get something from it as we go through this. And so a lot of people have asked me, I didn't know Miss Brenda was sick, and Miss Brenda wasn't sick. She didn't seem to be sick. We all know that Mom to be a fighter and someone who just is constantly rebounding, and she might get down for a minute, but she'd get right back up. And so on Saturday, December 7th, I believe it was, she that morning, actually the day before on Friday, she went to the hospital. She went to the doctor's office just to get checked. Her breathing was getting a little labored, and her voice was a little raspier, and she felt that maybe that she might be coming down with pneumonia. She went to the doctor, and he said, "Nope, you don't have pneumonia. That you seem to be okay." He said, but just to prevent the onset, he gave her a little bit of medicine just to prevent that from happening. And me and my siblings were supposed to go to breakfast on Saturday morning, and she called us that Saturday morning, or called me and told me, Melinda, I don't feel good, but I don't feel that bad, so let's just let me stay in today, and tomorrow morning, on Sunday morning, we can go to breakfast then, and we all, of course, we all agreed, and as always, I talked to her, 6 or 7 times that day, and in fact, at the end of the day, I had called her. And her answer machine picked up, and I thought, you know what, she has gotten out, and y'all know how me and her might fuss at each other just a little bit. So, when her answer machine picked up, and then she interrupted the answer machine, and she was like, "Hello," and I'm like, "You know what, Miss Brenda, I'm glad you answered this phone, because I was fixing to send out a search party for you." And she said, "Oh, no, I haven't left my room all day. I'm feeling better, and I'm looking forward to going to breakfast in the morning." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll see you in the morning. I love you. Good night." And it was about 2:30 in the morning. Natasha called me and said that Mom had trouble breathing, and she needed to go to, and that they took her to the emergency room. Well, frantically, I got up and rushed to the hospital, and was in the emergency room with her, and they had given her put the BiPAP machine on her, which is just this heavy duty oxygen mask thing, and her and it wasn't doing what it needed to do, and she had somewhat aspirated, and Jeff and I were the ones that were with her at that time, and then the nurse said, I think we're fixing to have to intubate her, and I was like, startled because she just didn't seem to be that bad, but understanding that her breathing was labored, and I'm like, well, she's not going to be okay with this because this is something that she's been scared of, and then I go up to Mom and we start telling her about what's happening, and it happened really fast, and they ended up intubating her, and as we that she was intubated for a few days, and then they tried to take her off, and she didn't rebound from being taken off of it, and never really fully woke up, and then her breathing declined again, and so they had to put the ventilator on her again, and so at this point we're on December 17th, and I still was holding on to a lot of hope that she was going to be okay. In fact, so this was on Tuesday. So on Monday, there was actually a very large hope sign that came into the thrift store. And if you, our motto was restoring hope, and to me that was a sign from God that this is what was that I could hang on to this hope, and my hope was that she would fully recover, and Mom had always again rebounded, so to me it made sense to hang on to that hope, and you might have seen it on Facebook because it was a beautiful sign. We posted it, I posted it on Facebook asking for everyone to pray for her. It was just again beautiful, and to me very significant, and then on Tuesday the doctor explains to us that that her body is getting weaker, and that she cannot sustain the ventilator any longer, and that they needed to take her off, and he wasn't sure wasn't sure if her lungs would survive, so we needed to move. We needed to be prepared. He said, hope for the best, but you need to be prepared for the worst. And again, I went. I'd spent the night, most of the nights at the hospital during this time, and so that night I, went to sleep with having hope again. And then it was around 4:00 that morning, which was December 18th. My older Bo, my older brother, I think most of you know him. He has this daily devotional book, and he was a couple of days behind on it, and let me get my glasses on here for you, and he was a few days behind on it, and he read December 16th and 17th, and then he was going to put it down for the day, but then he felt a nudge to go ahead and read December 18th, which was that day, so he'd be completely caught up. And December 18th was actually titled Mom's Finish Line, and it was 2 Timothy 4:1-8 that it was referencing to, but it was, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. And the devotion is about a man named Jeff learning that his mother's health had rapidly declined and that she was passing, and talking about her running the race well. Well, when I read the title Mom's Finish Line, I knew that that my hope was not necessarily that my mom would wake up and recover from this, but my hope was in Christ and Christ alone, and that I had come to the terms at that point that Mom was going to pass that day, and to see God's grace and His mercy in delivering us a message, a devotional book that actually read Mom's Finish Line, and acknowledging that she had ran the race well, that she had fought the good fight, that she had the faith, and Mom had done all that, and I believe that the Lord, that was just just the favor of the Lord, just giving us that sign that He was in it, and so it was around 11:15 that they had taken out the ventilator on December 8th, took her off the ventilator, and she passed away around 12:25. And she was surrounded by me and Jeff and Bo and Matthew and Miranda, my sister-in-law Rebecca, Natasha. We were all with her, and the presence of the Lord was in the room with us, and again we carried that peace, and we're that we know where she's at, and since that. I'm sorry, y'all, give me a second. And then since that time, it was a whirlwind. And I know, like, the Lord, as a lot of y'all ask, how are you doing? How are you doing? And don't be sure to grieve. And I'm like, how do you just being? I mean, how do you not grieve? And so when people ask me about it, I'm like, you bring up certain things or something happens, and I'll cry, and I'll cry. Grieving is definitely part of it, and God is, and I've seen God's faithfulness through the grieving process. There was so as we went through Christmas, and Christmas, December 25th still happened. Christmas looked a lot different for us, but just a couple ways that I felt like the Lord has shined on us in this is we had on December 21st, on Monday, December 23rd, somebody had asked me about, hey, Miss, I hate to ask you this, but Miss Brenda had ordered something for me, and it hasn't come yet. And I was wondering if there's any way that you could check on it for me. And so I pull up Mom's Amazon account. We all know that Mom was a shopper, right? And so when I pull up her Amazon, I saw that she had there was actually a delivery out for that night, and I saw that it was 2 shirts, and knowing Mom, I kind of had my hopes up. I was like, it was the last thing that she ordered on December 7th, and I was like, I wonder what it is, and it was actually this Chosen shirt that I have on tonight for us. For I wanted to share it with you, it was, she had bought her one and me one, and two matching Chosen shirts, and it, to be out delivered that night. I wanted to go chase after all the FedEx trucks trying to find it, because I was desperate, wanted to know what it was that she ordered. But it so happened that she had told Natasha that she had ordered it, and so we knew but Natasha had forgotten, and it was super sweet that I got that to have this shirt, and 1 Peter 2:9 tells us. I wanted to read that for you. 1 Peter 2:9. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light. I love that Bible verse. I love that it's chosen, and that we are chosen. And I know that Mom fought so hard for us to know that we are chosen, that we are chosen people, and that He has called us out of darkness into light. She was passionate about teaching all her women that, and she taught me to teach her women that. And so I wear this shirt with great pride. And if you want to know who got her shirt, it was Kaylee. And Kaylee wears hers with great pride as well. So that being said, that's what happened. And how are we doing? It depends on the day. Funny, quick story. I felt like I'm in a pretty good place. And again, people, you got to make sure you grieve. And I want to encourage you, as I share this story, grief hits you, and at any time you don't know when it's going to hit. And one particular day, I'm going up my driveway. It was actually a Saturday, going up my driveway, and my car radio somehow sometimes switches frequencies as I go up my driveway, but most of the time it's like a static shh, and then as it kind of decides what frequency it's going to hit in, and then if it goes to a secular station, it's secular music station, it it only lasts for a second, but then it bounces back over to my Christian station that I always keep on my radio. And this particular Saturday, when I get up to the top of my driveway, it never staticked, it never did anything. So I think I'm still listening to Christian radio. And as I'm listening to a song, it's never a song that I'd heard before. And I was like, what song is this? And then as I'm listening a little bit more, it's about the losing a parent. And so I just immediately start tearing up listening to the song. And then the song has a cuss word in it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't my Christian radio, but now I'm into this song and I am listening to this song. I am all in, I am bawling, I am crying, and then there's, it's like, how could you leave us? And I'm crying and then I, listen to all of the song, and then I go into my house and I'm getting a little frustrated because there's just made me sad, and I'm flirting with angry a little bit, and then I pull it up on YouTube, and so I can listen to it a little bit more because that's how it works, right? And then I'm getting a little more angry. Well, then I don't want to be angry by myself, so I send it to my brothers, and then I realized that I had forgotten my computer at the center. So I have work I got to do. So I get in my car, and now now I don't need the secular station anymore because I've got it on my phone and I'm listening to it on the radio. Listening to it through my Bluetooth. And I'm in the car and I'm crying, and I'm getting on the interstate, and again flirting with angry. This even though the song's not an angry song, it's it just with the how am I supposed to get over you? How am I supposed to get past this? And how am I supposed to? And generally when I'm walking in the spirit, I know how I can get through this. But now that's not what I'm listening to right now. I'm listening to, I don't know how I'm going to, and I'm getting angry. And then it's time for me to get on the interstate, and the car is not letting me over. And I am getting mad because why would you not let me over? And I'm like, well, I'm going to get over. And so then I somewhat run over, I don't run over the car, but I'm getting over. And I did. And then I'd speed up and getting a little, I'd call it maybe road rage. Maybe a little bit, and that's not like me. And then as I go to get off the interstate, that car is a long way past me because I'm over it. And then I get off the car, get off the interstate, and it dawns on me that I've let something, again, it wasn't that it was a bad song, but where I was at in my state of mind and everything, that I'd lost the frequency. Where I'd been walking with the Holy Spirit and where the Lord is carrying me and guiding me through. I was letting the wrong message speak to me, and the wrong thing was coming out. And so I say that to encourage you that sometimes we can kind of let the wrong frequency get in our head, and then the wrong thing starts coming out. And so I turned it back on to my Christian radio, where the messages are uplifting, and it encourages grief. It encourages there's a time to mourn. Scripture tells us that, and I don't need to be scared of that, and I'm not scared of that. But when I listen to the wrong voices, and as any of us listen to the wrong voices, we can get our heart in the wrong place. And so as I share that with you tonight, I just want to encourage you to, as I encourage myself, to walk hand in hand with the Lord and let Him lead and let us guide us. A couple of scriptures that comes to mind was Philippians 4:8, where it says, and now, dear brothers and sisters, finally fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about these things that are excellent and worthy of praise. I want to encourage you to do that tonight, to think on the things of what God has for you, what's lovely, what's pure. A couple of people have asked what's next. I'm so grateful to BGTV for making this podcast possible with Mom. I know it was very, very important to her. and it's not over. She has eight more shows that's going to be playing for y'all over the next 8 Mondays. We're excited about those. Stay tuned in. Listen, some great guests are coming up. Her birthday is next Monday, and just because I know we've always celebrated it, we're still going to celebrate it. Don't know what in capacity, but keep that in mind, that her birthday is the 27th. People have asked, will the podcast continue afterwards? I plan on anything that Mom has started. I feel that there's a plan and a purpose for it. We plan on the podcast continuing through definitely through this year. I hope longer. We'll see. Just see if y'all tune in and y'all listen. If you do, we believe we're going to shift more about her legacy continuing, and just that the legacy continues, and the importance of what we do here on earth, that it matters, what we carry forward. And what we do here matters, and that we want to be kingdom builders, and we want you to be kingdom builders. We want you to live your purpose-driven life, to see the impact that Mom made, and that God gives us all the ability to make an impact. So we want to sow into y'all through this podcast over the next few months, just to see what the Lord does. Tune in, be part. I want to read my notes to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. Again, anything that Mom has started, we do plan on continuing it as her legacy continues to grow. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and I hope you have the very best week. And we'll see you next Monday for Mom's podcast. Love you so much.